you about crime culture. As you've seen the recent change, crime culture with Czar, there's going to be many changes. It's going to be more professionally formatted as we go on. I'm starting off to let you know the change because crime culture is a very important thing that's not discussed. Many people had asked me behind the scenes, what is a crime culture? Okay. A crime culture is when crime has become a normal daily part of business as usual. So if there's a racketeering scheme or something going on, crime is part of that culture because in order for you to get done what you got to get done in racketeering, you have to be committing crimes to make it happen. And this ideology I'm bringing forth is to show you how far we have fallen as a society and culture as opposed to the traditional views that we've carried as a whole. Now, crime culture doesn't just end with people saying someone's a gangster in some place. It's actually deeper than that. It runs to politics, it runs into everyday living, community, globally. It affects all these formats because even in a company standpoint, crime culture has been developed behind the scenes in order to get the job done to maximize profit. Anything that maximizes profit at the cost of people, the planet, or any type of community situation explains a crime culture because you take more of the good that you use for customer satisfaction, customer service, and you develop it in a way where you're, let's say, manipulating all the factors around you to equivalate to your personal outcome or your unannounced outcome of what you're looking for. These things are factors in a crime culture. And I bring that up to let you know. And I just want to let you know that although I am launching on this channel, more than likely, I'm going to have another channel that you see pop up with this because I'm looking to innovate what I'm doing and I'm not getting rid of Zara Rights Reserve because that's going to be its own entity. So when I'm talking about a crime culture, I think it's important you understand that it affects everything, your kids, your family, and loved ones, whoever it may be, it affects everybody. Because there's some situation that has come up that makes it seem that crime is necessary to keep the beast going. So, whereas in politics, they said that somebody cheated on the ballots, they did it illegally, right? And that was part of a larger decision of our community culture, of the American culture that we're looking into. So when they looked into it, they didn't find stuff, but now they're finding out things. So literally, that create made crime a part of the culture in politics that other politicians may use to try and get over on the system. So that is just a brief, very generic understanding of what it is when I say crime culture. There's a crime culture in everything, if you think of it. There's a crime culture in being a celebrity. There's a crime culture in being a teacher. There's a crime culture in being a student. There's a crime culture in being any situation you could think of. If there's a way to cut corners to get a personal desired outcome, that is a crime culture. It's part crime is now part of your culture of your success. Because when you speak of your success story, you may not mention it, but there was something underhanded done to entice that. And I think it's very important people think of these things as we go forward into the future because it's only going to get worse as time goes on. So where cultural aspects are taken into account as where a child's place is, where an adult's place is, where a teenager's at, you got to remember a crime culture is going to be what influences the future. Because the things that people do underhanded to achieve a certain outcome or goal is going to be perpetually handed off to someone else to do the same, regardless of whether you want it to or not. It's going to happen that way because that's how it goes. Somebody's watching somewhere and understanding a way to cut corners in whatever situation they're dealing with. So in any aspect, I understand that it's going to be something where everyone's like, well, how is that possible? You believe that? It's not a belief. It's about what's happening in front of us. So we have to understand and come to a conclusion to get that crime is not only done by people who's a hoodlum, who's trying to get by. It's not crime is a white collar and blue collar thing all alike. There's no differentiation that tells you someone's not going to commit crime as opposed to someone committing crime. Therefore, anyone's capable of committing crime. So crime is a part of our culture because anyone could do it. You could look at any one person and they have the ability to do it. Doesn't matter race, doesn't matter gender, doesn't matter presumed identity. Everything could be a crime when taking to get a certain outcome, and corners are cut to achieve this. That's an understanding for what most of the articles and different stories that I'm going to introduce to you this year are going to be about. And even if it's the cleanest scene, I'm going to point out the crime and the fact of the matter in the way events occur. There's a crime in most events that occur that get swept under the rug, but most people don't even acknowledge it. Someone doesn't have to end up deceased at the end for a crime to be committed. Someone doesn't have to be convinced that they gotta be a criminal to commit a crime. You could commit a crime without even trying. It's not that hard. And that's the justification behind it. Now, I'm just doing this brief synopsis because in the future, I'm going to be mentioning exact situations, even about some YouTubers you've seen. Let me give you an example, okay? Now, recently, we seen TashaK has been put in a situation where she's in court with Cardi B, and her husband has made certain claims of things that have and have not happened. Now, if you think about it very clearly, think about it. He is here. How? Is he from America? Did he move to America? When they're announcing where the money's at, why is everyone so quiet? If she's getting sued for so much money and she's been on YouTube so long, where has she gained the funds to be thought to owe this amount? You get me? There was an amount that was announced yesterday, allegedly of $6 million that is requested by Cardi B. How did she come up with that amount? There has to be some numerical value that makes her believe that's what she can get out of the situation with her. So that alone introduces you to the ideology of thinking. Then when I watched it and I saw her reaction to a lot of stuff, I was confused because she wasn't really fighting back with legitimate details. Neither was her lawyer. So she was kind of stranded out there. And now you got a lawyer that's not really fighting for you. And you're not really fighting for yourself. Now, allegedly, someone told me that lawyer was a different type of lawyer. That lawyer wasn't actually a lawyer that deals with cases that are civil suit related. And he was a criminal lawyer, which was foolishness, which makes no sense. Laws are very, very particular. And only a person that's aware of public figures and aware of individuals that do and have sued to earn amounts of that level and magnitude can truly stand by your side. It was obvious to see the lawyer she had no clue of what was going on, which I feel bad for her, which is more than likely why she's in a losing position right now. Because even if you paid for a lawyer, why didn't you pay for a lawyer that knew what they were doing? There's a lot of issues when looking at that situation. Crime culture is everywhere. You see it. So they're basically saying that regardless of whether she committed a heinous crime that you know of, the reason she's guilty is because she told lies in between the truth. So lies were added to the truth for media purpose is what they're claiming. So the thing is, her lawyers don't really know how to fight that because they know criminal offenses. So in a crime culture, they'd be able to expose the crime done. But since they can't expose a crime, it's just that they're being pinned for slander. They can't even defend her on the terms of her slandering something. And she's not even claiming she didn't. So therefore, the situation's getting more confusing and more fixated on what she said than what has been said to her because this star is a larger proportion. But there's many different situations that she could have fought out in to explain what she was doing. Now get this. The way she's basically being defended is the lawyer's like, look, she's a media personality. She does this all the time. She's just playing like satire, sort of like they're saying. That's how they're explaining it, even though they're not saying it. But if you think logically, she did not deny having said stuff that wasn't true about this woman, that wasn't even looked into at all. So therefore, they're trying to get her on those standards because they're claiming that this woman is saying things that by name, naming her, that's affecting the business. If you check back on a lot of stories I did, that's why I speak how I do. Because I know that there are lames that will try and bring up, oh, he's just saying that. But I also know it's going to lead to exposing deeper crimes, which would be against their nature of what they want to do. About fans being cheated out of money, about money being taken, about people being threatened. That's a crime culture. Threatening and using collusion. But when anytime you conspire behind the scenes against someone or in a way that you're trying to put someone in detriment without directly addressing it, it's a crime culture. And that's part of our culture in America, from politics to school to athletic events. There's many different crimes that are committed within the culture we've built. And that's the ideology and knowledge behind what it is that I'm going to be discussing this year. I think it's very important to understand that and to understand your rights as a civilian, as a person, of things that you do not have to deal with if you do not want to. But that's very important. People don't know their rights. So I'm not really sure whether she gets it or not. But the one thing I did notice, okay, and I was wondering if I should call this out. I was very curious. But the funny thing to me is, so if you read the documents and paid attention, the husband ended up portraying and admitting certain things that went against TashaK. And everybody's like, is that a strategy? Is that this? I don't believe it's a strategy. I believe he's trying to separate himself from what he sees coming because it seems to be federal eyes on this situation. I don't know if it's FBI. I don't know if it's, I don't have the details on IRS. I don't know. But I know it's federal eyes on the situation dealing with her. And it gets sticky because if she's hiding money that she should have paid taxes on, or if she's in a situation where they're looking and examining her making money and her hiding it in some way, shape, or form. And what I am going to reserve is talking about the way she hid it or how she'd hide it. Because if I go into that, it's going to be me doing prosecution's job for them. And that's not what I'm here to do. There's many different ways to hit her where it hurts, but instead of hitting below the belt. And that's a lot of what she did. If you go back in community, I tagged her and said that while she was doing it to Jaguar Wright. Because I was saying, look, man, even if you have a problem with this person, maybe you going this far to come at them is not the best idea. Maybe there's other ways, because if you got a celebrity on a personal basis of saying like, look, you were, this is just an example. I'm not saying she said this. You were luring minors into a special place. For what reason? You have to have some proof behind that. You're claiming that they're luring minors, which is an outright crime, and trying to say it happened for this reason and that reason without stating the reasons verbatim. That would be prosecuting someone against the nature of even proving a crime of that magnitude occurred, which can pin both parties to the wall. And right now, the reason her defense is failing is because their knowledge is limited. You're a criminal lawyer. There is not a crime being talked about as far as a civil suit goes at this point. She's coming for her money. Get this. She wants her money. And she wants to hit her pockets. So her going for her pockets is not saying that TashaK committed a crime talking about me. It's not a crime to talk about Cardi B. There's free speech. You can say whatever. But she told a blatantly vivid lie that she said affected her musically. Her talent her things. They're using keywords that are carrying the narrative, whether she says it or not. And that is why people were always like, oh, say a name, say this. And I didn't go that deep because I know the laws. I kept it very general. Always keep it general. If I'm going to say a name, I'm going to say an exact fact. And the thing about what I did, there was real life crime happening. Like, even if I didn't say it, there were worse crimes happening behind the scenes. And that's when I was getting hit up by certain people who could have really ended a lot of these celebrity people that I was referring to. But that wasn't my job. That wasn't what I was here to do. That wasn't my purpose. So that's why I talk about crime culture, because it's intermixed in everything from the music world to the acting world to anything political, really. Seriously. You can find a crime somewhere. And a good thing that we need to know, and I'm going to say this, one of the main things TashaK. Now, also, I want to say this. Cardi B also used another YouTuber that we had over here. I don't know. You guys aren't watching. She was over here for a long time. I'm cool with her. I ain't got no problem. But Cardi B used that girl to get at TashaK. If you notice, it was a real slick move. Let me use this person that I know loves my attention to expose their own. So us as YouTubers, we are one set. Her as a celebrity, she has other celebrities around her. She's her team. We're our team. She used one of us to weaken the defense of TashaK, which was a very, very smart move. That is how you interact. That's how you operate when you go to court. But it can backfire. And I was thinking of whether I should mention how it could backfire. Again, I'm not trying to influence the case either way. It could backfire on Cardi B. That's why it's risky for her to even use. Okay, first off, what's Lovely T's credibility? What's her credibility on TashaK? Even if she has personal knowledge, you were talking to her about this personal knowledge, or you were told hearsay. There's many different ways to break that. There's many different ways to break. And what's very scary is if TashaK wins, she could pull Lovely T into to the court case. Like, hold on, you told false information about me. So it's a catch-22. She can fight through this, beat Cardi B, and then go after Lovely T. Now, I don't know what YouTube, I don't know her reach. I don't know her finance on anything. I don't know anything. But she could drag her in and hold her down and drown her. There's many different ways. That's why Cardi B's smart. So she sort of pulled in Lovely T, used her as a shield between the YouTube world and her celebrity status, which was so smart. That lawyer, he did his homework. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to drag you in, use you as a shield to say, look, you were saying this. Don't you know this about her? Without me having to say anything. She doesn't even have to drag her into court because she can just say, well, look, I have this person telling me this. I know. She texted something or sent some type of message and you had to respond. There's no other way a lawyer could stand on in court without getting you caught up to do that. There's no way. There's no way. She had to write you, say something that she's banking on to use. There'd be no proof to use it because Lovely T could just say, I never said that. I never said that. Or the video she's using it. So it's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game. And the crime culture gets even deeper on this one if you look at the records of everybody involved. Now, I don't know of Lovely having a record. I don't know of Tasha having a record. But I know of Cardi B on wax admitting to crimes she committed but was never arrested for or anything. So it could be a catch-22 because even though that can't be prosecuted in this situation, it can explain character. Character. Get me. Character is everything in court. It's everything. If I make you look like the scum of the earth, I can try that, but it can backfire. If you're scum, I can expose you for actual situations you were involved in. I could have people come speak to say, yeah, she did this to me. She did that under oath. That can build a character case. In civil court, a lot of it is about attacking character, attacking morals, attacking you as a person, your actions. It's not so much about what it is on a normal basis of crime. A crime does not have to be committed for me to try to push to get someone held out as an outcast or a scapegoat. So that's what I'm saying. Lovely T, I rock with you. We had many conversations. I'm thrilled to see you have done your thing and you up there. Yo, you deserve it. I want to tell you, be careful. Be careful. Because it's not just Tasha K you're dealing with. Even though Cardi B is a celebrity, your favorite celebrity, you got to be careful. You don't know her angle. Her lawyers may kick you under the bus, snatch the 6 million, and then force Tasha K to come for you. You don't, I'm telling you. The moment they mention your name, I was like, because I was like, yo, I felt where her lawyer was going. You got to be very careful, Tasha K. Well, you got to be careful, but you already messed up. You already doubled down. You know how I said double down? Tasha K doubled down on things she did that was wrong. You can't. So you got to be careful. But Lovely T, you got to be extra careful. Cardi B is pulling you in, man. You got to be very, very, like, T, hear me. I understand that you got knowledge and that you got this stuff. Understand the lawyer's going to try and figure out how you found out what you found out, because her lawyer right now is back's against the wall. His back is against the wall. Do not be fooled. Cardi got good lawyers, but I'm telling you, one slip up they make of including you, and now you're in a situation you never wanted to be. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, yo. You got to be very careful. Do not be fooled. It is not what you think. Go piece by piece through the information they're saying. You'll see what I'm saying. It's not cut and dry here. She's doubling down. She said what she said. Okay? So she's not fighting that. But understand, the only difference between the truth coming out was her husband. Now get this. Cardi's going for 6 million, right? And Tasha K can stand to lose 6 million. All he has to do is produce an angle that shows Cardi was attacking her and coming at her through something you directly said. Now you're 10 toes in and you could get dragged. If Tasha manages to overturn things, you're going to get dragged next, because what she has to do is expose the information Cardi received is shaky. If she can find a way to show that information she received and her accusations on what Tasha actually meant, get me, what she actually meant, she has no proof. There's no proof. She can say, listen, I could say, I hate today. What do I hate about today? Somebody's like, oh, he's a hater. He's hating. I can hate today because my sock got a hole in it. I can hate today because I missed breakfast. And I'm giving you a general inquiry because I'm not trying to influence the case, no way. Okay? That's not what I'm here to do. I am here to shed light so you get the picture. You got to get the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that Tasha said some things that she shouldn't have said. She's standing on it, though, because it's her opinion, which gets a little mixed when we look at how Cardi's saying it affected her business-wise. How can Cardi prove that? How can I prove that? It's no longer a thing about proving it, except showing evidence of how she received the information, showing how she lost money that way, and showing what emotional situation she was put in because of it. Those are the only ways she can get at Tasha K. But because she sent cease and desist letters, that is how she can stand. She sent cease and desist letters. She sent this. There would be no other way to take her to court if she didn't send that. That was the factor that she's standing on. Understand how it's working. If Tasha K's lawyer figures a way through this, you got to be careful because the way it was mixed, your name was mixed. It was basically saying, like, Lovely T can back me up on this. And Cardi speaking, yeah, it's going to blow you up, but at what cost? At what cost? Yeah, Cardi B's a friend, but you just made an enemy of Tasha K. Now, prayerfully, she doesn't get indicted. But if she was to get indicted and there was anything said false that was used against her that doesn't indict her, you could have a suit on your hands. And she could come for you for that money she lost. And say that because a lot of things they were saying, I don't know if you said it allegedly, could have, but it's heavy and it's very damning evidence of pushing her towards the losing side. So she can come back and double up and say, well, it was because Lovely T, false piece of information that got me indicted. And now you got the war on your hands. What Cardi B takes from her, she can pull from you. What she loses from Cardi, she could come for you for. You got to be very careful, man. That's why I'm very general. People are like, say a name, say this. I'll be chilling. If you notice, I'll be chilling. I'll be just talking. Because you got to understand it gets deeper than that. For a long time I've been on YouTube, I read those regulations and I read what you can and cannot do. I read it over and over and over and over. Trust me, I was reading. That's why when they were reporting me, understand, at one point I was getting 15 reports a day. 15 reports a day on me. Beat them all. Hard body, beat them. Because I knew my limitations. And the people who made the reports, all gone. Every last one of them gone. Gone. Because I knew my limitations. They did not. Understand? And I still got stuff that I could show that this person was fueling a crime culture on me, lying on me, trying to get me set up because they did not like the truth coming out. I still got all those documents I could do. So you always want to keep an ace in the sleeve. That's what I learned. You keep an ace in the hole. Because I didn't go all out with everything to just get, excuse my French, assed out. Okay? I didn't do it that way. I learned from some of the best YouTubers when dealing with other people. That's how I knew what to do. I knew the limitations. I knew what titles I could put. I knew what titles I wanted to do, but I couldn't. I knew this, all of it. And even to this day, I don't even have to say another thing about the cases I had. And people still reaching out because they know the truth. Like, there's a way to tell the truth to your public without saying it blatantly. They know the truth. I know the truth. They know I know the truth. So what more do I need to say? They expose themselves and I let them expose themselves. How do you do a case where a girl's friend dies and they say, I love that day. I loved that day. I loved it. I loved it. They expose themselves. Let them. Yo, that was crazy. That was still the craziest thing. I'm like, now understand, they were attacking me on Twitter. Twitter doesn't protect like YouTube. That's why I don't really rock with Twitter. Now granted, let me give them some respect. When I proved my point, they gave me everything back. They still got one channel they got to give me back on Twitter. Come on. They're holding up that one because I was killing it on that one. Like, it didn't make no sense. Like, that channel was my connection to all these celebrities. Like, yo, it's okay. It's okay. I didn't accept the oath. I get it. I get it. No. All right, whatever. So, bottom line, understand that Tasha K is in a tight spot, but she can reverse the walls on Cardi B at any time. The moment she does that, I'm telling you, Lovely T, she's coming for you. If she manages to beat Cardi B, You're next up on the chopping block. Understand that. Because you had her, she's losing money right now. Every day she's not doing it, she's losing money. She got to recoup somehow. If you think she's not going to come for you after Cardi mentioned some alliance with you, no, you're mistaken. Matter of fact, if she's any type of strategist, I would have been came for you. I would have been, yo, I would have been came for you. Been. Because she's thinking like, this is the girl feeding her private information. This is her connect. How do you stop the, now let's think of law in a crime culture. How do you stop the flow of anything illegal into your state, your city? You cut the connect. If she sees you as a connect to her getting the information to do what she wants, you are on the chopping block, man. That is what I'm here to tell you. You got to be very careful. And I'm saying this because I rock with you. I don't rock with Tasha. I don't rock with Cardi. I don't rock with them. I rock with you. No, I'm just telling you because I already see these guys. She has a lawyer that is a criminal lawyer. Understand how criminal lawyers think. He's looking for where a crime was committed, where a lie or something false or fake. He's looking for that. If there's anything he could prove as a lie that Cardi's saying, he wants to know where she got it, how she developed it, who told her how she got it. If she had you send that information via message or it wasn't verbalized, even if you verbalized it on the phone, yo, you got a lot of backtracking to do. They're looking for a scapegoat. Be careful. They're looking for a scapegoat. Lawyers don't want to accept the reasoning for why a client lost. They want to blame things. Her lawyer is going to blame a person. He's not going to blame himself. Understand that. It gets deeper than that. And that's as far as I can go with it because, again, I promise that I'm not going to go into detail to dissuade a court case any other way. I promise that. So, I may talk about things, but I got to stick to my promise. But I am telling you, but again, guys, I am going to tell Lovely T to be careful. I don't care. That I will say. You rocking with your boys, all rights reserved. I'm about to go back in a minute. I got another subject. All right.